So let's show it right now. This is from Ryan. On offense, the offensive line must meet the challenge against a top 10 D, returning most of its starters, protect Angeli, and open running lanes. Defense, front six must make Aguilar uncomfortable early. Inexperienced offense led by a new QB who is a flawed pocket passer. Get him off his game and stall them. Thank you so much, Ryan, for the comments. Let's go to the offense angle first regarding Syracuse. Josh Heupel's defenses over at Tennessee, he got there in 2021. They have progressively gotten better since he has taken over, at least relative to his conference, which is the SEC. And we're talking about total defense, which is yards allowed per game. In 2021, Tennessee had the 11th defense in the SEC, but that's okay. I mean, it's Josh Heupel's first year. You kind of give him a pass for that. 11th is not very good. In 2022, Tennessee was 10th in the SEC. So slight improvement, but still not where you want to be. But once you get to 2023, that's when Tennessee really became an elite defense. They were 4th in the SEC in total defense. And in 2024, which was last year, they were 2nd in the conference. So you're right. This is one of the better defenses in the nation year over year under Josh Heupel. And there's no reason to believe why in 2025 they can't once again be one of the top defenses in the country. Now, we heard from Locked On Vols host Eric Kane that Tennessee, they're going to rotate a bunch of defensive linemen. So for this offensive line of Syracuse, how are they going to be able to hold up against very talented and fresh defensive linemen for Tennessee? That is something that I'm certainly going to keep an eye on. One thing I'm also going to keep an eye on, and Syracuse fans, this is important, is the Tennessee secondary. And I'm going to mention a couple of players for you right now, one of which is probably not going to play, and the other might not see the field all that much. Tennessee will most likely be without all-conference corner Jermod McCoy. He is recovering from ACL surgery. He is a projected first-round pick. And Tennessee fans, I understand that your team has a lot of depth, but you cannot sit here and tell me that Jermod McCoy is not a big loss for your program. So for Syracuse, can you take advantage of no Jermod McCoy in the lineup? Also, sophomore all-conference corner Boo Carter. He may also be limited for Tennessee. Now, it has nothing necessarily to do with injury. I'm not going to get into all the details about what happened with him and the Tennessee program, but let's just say there was some shenanigans behind the scenes, okay? And if you want more information on that, I'm sure you can go back over the last couple of weeks. You can check out Locked On Vols with Eric Kane, and he can explain that situation more in depth. But for the purposes of this game, he may not be at 100%. He is a great returner, so Syracuse does have to keep an eye out for him if he is in there on punt returns and on kick returns. But as far as defense, we don't know exactly how much he is going to play as of this moment. Regardless, Tennessee's defense should be stout, and Steve Angeli is going to have to make quick decisions with the football to try to mitigate the pressure that Tennessee can have. As far as defense for Syracuse, Ryan, you make great points, but I think priority number one for the Syracuse defense is to try to contain this Tennessee running game. And here's a stat for you all, okay? Because we've heard some of the numbers out there, but here's one that I had to dig a little bit deep for. Tennessee has run the ball well over 50% of the time in every year under Josh Heupel. He got there again in 2021. Let's go by year. In 2021, Tennessee ran the ball over 60% of the time. 2022, 55%. 2023, over 54%. And last year, over 60%. So if you're Syracuse, take some notes. Tennessee is likely going to come out and try to establish that running game. And if they are able to establish that running game, that's not a good sign for this Syracuse team, because I think Tennessee is perfectly content with winning this game with Joey Aguilar maybe attempting 15 passes. That's on the table. They might not ask Joey Aguilar to do all that much against Syracuse, because if they establish that running game, why abandon it, especially if you get the lead against Syracuse? That's another thing for Syracuse. Get the lead and force Tennessee to become a pass-first team. So thank you, Ryan, for your thoughts. Let's move on to New York Carolinian. I got two ideas. Throw Jonte Cook at them. Jamal McCoy, one of the best corners in the nation, will miss the first couple of games. This could lead to mismatches that could help us, referring to Syracuse, of course. Number two, force Joey Aguilar to turn the ball over at Appalachian State. He had turnover issues. Again, on offense, I do imagine that Syracuse is going to use Jonte Cook quite a bit. Jonte Cook is the Texas and Washington transfer, a former five-star recruit in 2023. He's got the speed and hopefully the talent to create separation against Tennessee defensive backs, even without Jamal McCoy and possibly a little bit of Boot Carter as well. Tennessee still has pretty decent depth over there. We already talked about, though, of course, them not really having Jamal McCoy and Boot Carter, so let's move on. On defense, yeah, Joey Aguilar, like it or not, Tennessee fans, at least at Appalachian State, he was prone to making mistakes. That doesn't mean he's going to be the same at Tennessee, as some of you have pointed out. Under Josh Heupel, a lot of quarterbacks have had very low turnover rates with him, thanks to that offense and the talent that they typically put around their quarterbacks. But for now, we can only base it off what he did at Appalachian State. Joey Aguilar does turn the ball over quite a bit. He threw 24 interceptions in 25 career games over at App State. So it's not necessarily about forcing a mistake if you're Syracuse. Forcing a mistake means that you got to make the play yourself. Like Devin Grant forcing that fumble on Xavier Restrepo, then picking it up and running it back for 6 like he did at the end of the season last year against Miami. Joey Aguilar, just like most quarterbacks in the nation and around the world, are going to give you a chance or two. And it's up to Syracuse to be in the right spot and to be able to execute when they get that gift. Chances are at some point in this game, Joey Aguilar is going to make a bad throw. Joey Aguilar is going to make a bad decision. You attempt enough passes, it's going to happen. Again, it's not meant to be disrespect. It happens to every quarterback in the league. It happens to Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills all the time. And sometimes he'll have a game where you intercept him 3 to 4 times because he will put the ball in harm's way. So if and when Joey Aguilar puts the ball in harm's way by his own doing, if you're Syracuse, you have to be there to make the play. Again, Syracuse, 13.5-point underdog in this game. They got to make that one play to flip the script, change the possession a little bit. You're a 2-touchdown underdog. A pick 6 is a 14-point swing. There you go. You just made up the point spread right then and there. So it's not necessarily about forcing Joey Aguilar into mistakes, but it's more about being there when he actually does make a mistake.